a walk in the park, considering this is also their map pick.
Yeah, and I like as well that MOUZ, I think, understand the position that they're in. They're the favorites in this game. Kyiv have everything to prove, and there was, I think, a little bit extra disrespect from MOUZ. You know, they're taking more of these solo challenges. They felt more comfortable leaving players in isolated positions to pull off these multi-kills. And then they had their hero moments as well, which is what makes it such a rough loss, I think, for Kyiv, is that they pulled it so close, even with the fragging sometimes being a miss for this squad. But good news is that Inferno is on the table. This is one of the maps that impressed us against Copenhagen Flames. They beat them 16-4 when they started on the T side. Now they're going to get an opportunity to see us, to show us through their CT performance and whether they can keep MOUZ contained on the offensive end.
Yes, it is going to be a difficult task for Kyiv, but starting on the CT side, I guess, does give you a little bit to work with. Nice shots open things up. Smash has taken a fair chunk of damage. The Glocks towards second mid looking pretty promising so far.
Yeah, not gonna want to hover around those apartments for much longer. MOUZ are actually making some good ground over. 3 players around the corner, and oh, CZ close. Good for numbers like this. Oh, smoke timing is terrible.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Nice shot, torzsi the second as well. Kyiv, they're now going to be looking very, very deflated in this first pistol of Inferno. Something I feel like they could have done with, get the extra boost, the head start maybe, just not working out overall. And, well, now to rethink, right, okay, sure, we have a kit double flash, but is this going to be enough to carry us over the line with only 2 players to support with Kevlar? I mean, sure, Amster as well has a smoke, but it just becomes a little more impossible. As the time continues to tick away, they don't really get their move on when it comes to getting these kills, and a nice shot from Dexter will be the demise of by9, and, well, there you have it, right, MOUZ are going to win the pistol, a couple of players to save. Nice shot from S4, but hey-ho, it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't really affect the outcome of the round, just doing a little bit of damage to Dexter, and Frozen to hit the deck as well, so not all bad. But the man with the util staying alive, but unfortunately not enough to win the round.
Yeah, Amster can at least rebuy into full head armor for no real extra cost, but MOUZ is going to be happy that they secure this round. They didn't overstep their bounds either. Those 3 players grouped up at the archers were waiting for someone to overpeak or challenge the archers in some capacity, and MOUZ just held on to their post plans, played it safe, played it nice and contained, and then even found one on the trailing exit. Does mean as well that because they save over that kit, Kyiv, with the force buy that they've gone with this round, do have the ability to challenge these post plants in a capacity that might be somewhat unanticipated for MOUZ. I don't know that they spotted the belt of S4 in his retreat.
Always going to be an interesting one. Flashes towards B to begin with. This time thrown by Kyiv to try and take that top banana control. The counter utility thrown in, but very similar to the pistol. We have a big grouping towards apartments. There's a couple of players stacked in on middle as well, so they are going to be looking for their chance to strike. Bearing in mind what has been a fairly ropey adventure on Inferno for the past 3 months here for MOUZ. They're looking to make their statement. Losses to Fnatic, NIP and FaZe, but a couple of nice shots with these Deagles might continue to the loss streak that they've been having, and the MP9 have smashed to come alive. torzsi's trade at least, but a 2-on-3, most certainly the game favouring Kyiv now. AK of torzsi going to tear the head off B9. Still a 2-on-2 though, and low HP on Frozen to cause more problems here for the T side of MOUZ.
Oh, S4 is getting spammed, and that smoke's not going to last forever. They're just waiting this one out, and Frozen's head just offered up, knows that they're up close. So the re-smoke in from torzsi, but it won't get there in time. A player inside of the site in Amster, but he takes so much damage, and now trying to go up onto the high ground, the MP9, the extra movement that he can have by being elusive around those boxes, but torzsi's going to play it cool, play it patient, but only has so much time on the clock to do it with. 20 seconds, and eventually Amster will swing, looking for information, looking to see where torzsi's gone, but he just kept cool in the clutch. MOUZ a second but ropey round.
A lot closer than it should have been, right? And considering this was a force play made by Kyiv, and MOUZ basically had the whole 9 yards when it comes to the AKs, the Galils, the MAC-10s. They had stacks of utility to work with, but couldn't isolate the angles enough. And, well, it does hurt to see, but they do find themselves a second round in the end. A couple more casualties than maybe they would have liked. And in this round specifically, what's just happened? 2 kills in the way of the CT side. Sure, okay. the kills go in the favor of MOUZ, but another round that's kept competitive just for minimal utility and simple USPs. MOUZ, of course, picking up the triple, but that got scary for a second or two there.
Yeah, didn't overthink it, I don't think, on the EC Kyiv side. Just threw the nades down, threw bodies at it as well, and MOUZ couldn't deal with the numbers that were sent their way. It does keep that money at least somewhat modest and moderated there for MOUZ. So when it comes down to these gun rounds, it's actually crucial that MOUZ keep several players afloat in terms of building their economy for future rounds. See Frozen and Bemis still hovering around sort of 4K a pop. The rest of the squad have had to buy down to next to nothing. So a hinging round. EC Kyiv could get a bit more breathing room by finding this one. Love that Frozen's still got his hands on this Mac 10 head armor, frequently skimped out on first gun rounds. Also just allows you to be more dynamic, a lot quicker in the pace and kind of jump around corners to clear.
Not to mention
harder when they don't play close.
Yeah. It was the gamble, right? Not to mention a couple of these players, well, I say a couple, it's only S4, but without their head Kevlar, right? Which makes the Mac 10 feel a lot more powerful than it should be. And even then, up close, sometimes they can actually make the move, right? And get themselves...
rapid double dink.
Yeah, exactly. Even with that head Kevlar, the Mac 10 still can be a scary gun. Frozen, maybe even opting to keep the money for the AWP. You know, torzsi's money's pretty low, so a financial game maybe being played by MOUZ here as well. They're not afraid to skimp out on the utility on B, though. A couple of smokes being dropped in. Nicely done. Frozen, that Mac 10 we talked about, has been taken low, but look at the space it's created. These players push out. They know they've got to be careful for the right-hand side. A flashbang to try and assist with it. Benign trying to take the contact, but Amster's going to be the main man of this round, and he doesn't go for anything. And the Mac 10 that we talked about continues to plague EC Kyiv as well. Now it's a 5-on-2, and unfortunately for the remaining M-Force, there is no choice but to save, and another round that they just don't feel very happy playing has cost them entirely.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that Frozen's able to get to first oranges while his team's segmented behind a Molotov. You see how defensive they're playing on that bomb site. They're not actually peeking into the angles. They're not looking into the Hobbit. They're not looking at the bomb site, and instead waiting for MOUZ to make their presence known on the site itself. But that crossfire breaks down very quickly as soon as MOUZ start trailing in those players. You don't get anything from the back of the site. You can't expect the rotates to get anything done either. So even though Frozen only gets that one kill, and it's a pretty big one, you know, he saves his teammate in the process. But he was 20 HP at the start of that site hit, and he finished it in much the same way because of how disruptive and how much he caught them off guard by his quick pace.
Yeah, very emphatic start for MOUZ, and, well, the Mac 10 quite quickly upgraded to the M4A1S, not to mention the downgrade for EC Kyiv in this round. It's pistols, it's the half-buy. I mean, sure, maybe we squeeze out a deagle or two, but this really isn't the M-Force that we had in the previous here, Yumi. So problems start to concur as well as the 5th round settles in. We've got the AWP on torzsi that I talked about in the previous. And they didn't even have to invest $1 of their own here, MOUZ, to keep it. Dexter moving his way early towards B, but it's JDC to draw first blood.
Oh, uQlutzavr does find the kill in response, though. Late peek from Boiler. JDC will hit the deck. That's the one rifle that they have to operate around. Still looking for more and more impact. Second middle, fully under his control. Still fancying these peaks as well for a late mid take for MOUZ. This is very close by, but all about who gets the drop on who.
By the looks of things, Bemis doesn't want to even entertain the idea of keeping apartments. Something that worked so well for them round 1, round 2. I mean, sure, they took a lot of casualties for it, but they are more than happy to chill and work towards B like they did in the previous. Belt of utility being expended. It is just Frozen creating the noise. The rest of the players coming from middle, so they do opt for the A play. uQlutzavr. Oh my god, the timing. No, of course he isn't. And if torzsi continues to move away and hold behind, that bomb quite quickly could become a problem towards the A site. He's going to hear the smokes. He's going to peek wide, but that's the carrier dropped. And a second kill, no, denied. Frozen, he'll take a bit of damage, but it's Dexter to save Frozen's life, as now the implosion from short and the remaining players stuck towards B. That's both M4s gone as well. So misfortune maybe for Kyiv to gamble stack B, and it doesn't pay off. They needed to do something gimmicky, and it just hasn't really worked out for them.
Rifles are retrievable at the very least, so long as they don't re-challenge in towards the brackets here from MOUZ. So they can try and save these weapons over. There was an AWP dropped onto the arches as well that has been retrieved. They get their hands on every single one of these rifles. They don't have armor on all the players. They don't have kits either, but they're still challenging because they can buy up in the next round. Amster brings it down to these 2 players that remain, and MOUZ trapped into the bomb site. Flash is great, but Frozen still able to adjust. They are falling like flies here on the EC Kyiv side. That double setup from MOUZ, just able to bounce off of one another fantastically. And S4 will escape with that AWP, but another one of these rounds where MOUZ lose a lot of their guns to a relatively low buy and low contest from EC Kyiv.
I mean, really well played overall, right? That MOUZ are able to find the 5th round. As you said, if you want to zoom in on it though, it's a lot more casualties than they're used to. The money is pretty good though, Yumi, so if I'm honest, okay, sure, it should never have come that close in the first place, but they're not really punished for said actions, right? They are just there to enjoy, chill, and I guess have a good time, you know? They're in front, why not keep running with what they got? There's no Mac 10 investments, nothing gimmicky in this round. Interesting to see a double AWP setup brought out. You know, we got the save from the previous, but Amster still dipping his toes into that double sniper setup. An unconventional one maybe so early on, but considering EC Kyiv yet to score, I feel like something unconventional could be the way to score themselves there first. We'll have to wait and see though. There's a timeout called, the CT side calling another, and I think they're just going to try and jump back into the action here after rethinking and maybe replotting their plans here on MOUZ's pick of Inferno.
Nice run boost. Molotov is quick, and S4 won't stay in it for too long. And a half. Secondary AWP is located over at B, but Flash is great. Amster didn't even really stand a chance. Sat in the sandbags with an AWP is never an ideal position because you can't simply fall back after the first pick. Rely too much on teammates to back you up around that corner, and Beer9 made a swift exit as soon as those flashes came in. A little breakdowns in the setup, but it felt like Amster almost wanted to go for the deep B peak, but might have been talked out of it.
Notice how already the guard is being set by Kyiv. Smokes towards B, still a minute left to go. Maybe pressing the panic button a bit with the utility here. You know, the smoke being dropped so soon. You can see the molly from uQlutzavr being dropped over, so you can see the boost coming from a mile away. He's just keeping the flashbang. A smoke towards CT, but MOUZ actually still playing patient towards Banana. The smoke's at the right time because Nine can't afford to rotate, leave his teammate out to dry, so he just has to sit behind the smoke and hope that he can be the supportive element to his teammate's success, and unfortunately that might be their downfall. The molly's coming shortly after, the CT smoke has faded, the flashbang tossed in, uQlutzavr on the angle will find one, that's the bomb carrier as well. JDC eating some lead through the smoke, but 20 seconds to go. MOUZ have re-scooped the bomb up, but the rotation's already happening. Chucking the bomb forward, Frozen, giving it to his teammate of torzsi, who's going to look to plant the bomb, not before he finds the kill. That's a beautiful pickup, and now they can turn their attention to the objective and setting the C4 down. Frozen's picked up another, and sure, this round comes close, and seconds nearly haunt them, but EC Kyiv just absolutely annihilated in their own element, and MOUZ looking to make it 6-0. A Smash left alone in a 1-on-4.
Yeah, the Bemis flank wasn't anticipated at all, so Smash is stuck. There is no escape. Only fighting his way out of the situation is how he saves onto this rifle. Maybe he can find even more damage. Players are low. torzsi dropped out of the round, and he has a kit, but Bemis holding with a long-distance AWP. Holds it for his teammate, but also ties in a 6th here for MOUZ. That was looking good from EC Kyiv. They got the Molotov down. They staggered the execute for MOUZ. They get the kill on the plant on the potential bomb planter as well. Then they have the plant exposed. You saw the hesitance from torzsi to just commit to the first orange's stick. He had to have Frozen sit in front of him and sit right by him just to make sure that he didn't get swung from graveyard or from the coffins, simply because they had no more utility. It felt like it was one kill away from EC Kyiv tying that one in as their own. And now they've got Mag 7s, Negevs. It's half buy, but not exactly the conventional weapons you typically see.
A Mag 7 and a Negev. Do you know what's interesting, actually? I checked on HLTV, because you know they have the live little feed. You can see, like, the kill feed as it happens. Actually, someone bought a Negev on the MOUZ side in the warm-up. And, well, as you said, the unconventional one, but a demanding one. Mag 7 just chews right through Frozen, spits him out. Dead corpse on Banana. Clean-up crew required for that one. As MOUZ now turn their attention towards A, I think this read is coming quite nicely for Kyiv. The rotates are coming, but it's just a question of if they can be in time. Smoke towards Moto will kickstart the push and counter smoke. And well, there you have it, right? The Negev in this angle could be lethal, but at the same time, it seriously could be their downfall. Taking their time. Nade dropped in. It does take a bit of shrapnel, but still alive and kicking. Not to mention smashes Deagle on the back of the site as well. MOUZ taking their time as JDC and Dexter to pluck apart the rotates, and it is just these two remaining players on the A hold. MOUZ have sussed it out nicely. I don't even think they'll make it around to the B site to set the bomb down as the players start to crumble as well. It's the Negev against 4.
I was really holding my breath for an A-side collapse straight into this Negev, because I don't think they would have been ready for it. You know, rounding that corner and there's bullet hell coming at you. But, yeah, not to be. BMA's still lurking around and deals with it. He's gonna even look down at that and just say, what on earth are you doing? You say MOUZ bought a Negev?
They did in the warm-up, yes.
Ah, in the warm-up, I understand.
Like, yeah, it wasn't actually, like, in the... Yeah, they didn't...
I was, like, thinking that even if they bought it on T-side, there was no way that was a saved weapon. They all died on ECQ,
yeah.
So...
No, it was in the warm-up. So, maybe he's just taking a leaf out of the MOUZ book. They do use a second timeout. The Kyiv side, got to talk things through. I think well-placed these two timeouts have been. The conventional 4th round timeout, I think it was number 4, that we saw the first one come in. The second one, of course, in round 8. They like their divisible by 4, you know? The factors of 4, it seems.
Yeah, it's like 2 buy rounds between each of them.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and it's like placed on the buy. I guess the first one would have been on the eco, right? If they bought in round 3 because they forced round 2.
True.
But you get the point, people at home. They are still trying. They're still trying to put up that fight. Unfortunately, MOUZ seem to be wearing some metal in their gloves or something, because their punches definitely are hitting a lot harder than EC Kyiv's right now, as yet to pick up a round and still going for the double ult setup. Still wishful thinking maybe for the snipers. Benign going to take a bit of damage. Amster forced off the angle, and MOUZ just normal day in the office, it seems. Banana control taken. Mid-oppression starting to be worked up as well. Smokes in towards B, just trying to draw out and extract the minimal utility that EC Kyiv has, and that is in the form of a molly already being dropped.
Yeah, nice reciprocating nade at least over towards Banana does leave Frozen tagged up, so one-shot headshot territory for these A1Ss, but look at the bracket stake now in from MOUZ, and uQlutzavr is isolated. Arches is smoked off. Smash not really fully committed to the same swing, but JDC was finished off. There is at least something in response, but Dexter has gone for the wrap through the arches. It's ring around the rosy. I don't know if S4 knows exactly where Dexter's shot off to, but understood that he might have made it through those arches, and he's given them the slip. It's only Smash on this A-bomb site. You can see S4 rotating around to B because he's expecting Dexter to go for a flank that direction, but Smash is about to get shot in the side of the head, and it's all S4's fault. So long as Smash stays inside the smoke, I guess he's safe, but dealt with quickly.
Yeah, really nicely done. Dexter the opener. Oh, it's 4. A collateral with 15 seconds left. The bomb dropped as well. Gonna have to be scooped up and put down by Bemis. And well, for the first time this map, it feels like this one is gonna be a bit challenging. MOUZ the man disadvantage. The retake obviously going to be delayed by a couple of seconds, waiting for the mid push to come in. But this is beautiful from MOUZ, positioning the pit and the short player cohesively. And so off one another, Dexter and Bemis wait, and the first man dropped. It's Dexter from afar, but they know Bemis is up close. A flashbang tossed over the top, but a missed shot. Amster will pick it up while blind, and so Dexter needing all 3 on the retake. spots the second headshot, and Dexter one more. Jumps up, but S4's nailed it. Got a kid as well. Does he have the time? It's going to be close. I think he just about has it. Yes, he will. What a round. A 2v3, sure. And it does come down to the wire, but a collateral from S4 to give EC Kyiv their first.
Man, what a roller coaster, considering Dexter gave him the good old switcheroo over at the arches, and then suddenly he comes in on the rotate and hits like that. Then to top it all off, winning the 1v1, just the jump peak too much for S4. Too quick, and a much-needed round, for sure. MOUZ have been able to crack into these sites too successfully. They've been able to get so many bomb plants down. See, their money is still looking good after losing that round, so it's going to have to be back-to-back. Hell, even back-to-back-to-back. If EC Kyiv want to break MOUZ money, make any of these rounds a little easier, but MP9's going to challenge over towards the banana position, and he definitely hears one real close by. The full reload as well from Dexter. Might not anticipate someone to have slipped on by the logs.
Yeah, this is a big position from Amster. If he can pick up a couple, certainly will be the round turned on its head. Frozen. He'll be the man to get taken down. Amster, what on earth is he doing? Dexter's killed his teammate on Banana. I'm not sure if Ben9 calls it or whatever, but there's a player to his left, and he just throws the util to the right, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to give up now. Beamer's going to pick up Smash in the meantime. S4 caught blind, so the AWP compromised towards B, and that in turn will give them all the right hunches to head towards A, and it is only uQlutzavr on the MP9 to hold down the fort, and well, he's good for one, but only the one, as the AWP now left alone. 12 points of health. MOUZ, business as usual, will take their tally to 8.
Yeah, quite an interesting play there from Amster. I think it's fair to say the fact he's able to get that one kill and his teammate had died, maybe the comms relayed a little bit late, but you could also understand from the mentality of, you know, smoke one angle, isolate it so that he knows it's only one player over at top banana, but maybe just thinking he had a bit more extra time to play with. It felt like that play could have certainly made the round there for EC Kyiv. They'd hold on to banana, they'd keep S4, I think, a little bit healthier, and they wouldn't have felt that they had to re-aggress over to B and get a faster rotate A. Certainly possibilities, but even in spite of that, and the situation that is so chaotic for MOUZ, you can imagine in the comms, like Frozen's getting shot after Dexter just ran through banana. Come on, man. Even in spite of all that, MOUZ are still able to get the kills all across the map, and it makes it so much more difficult for any of the EC Kyiv players to make the correct read in what is a very chaotic opening.
And MOUZ just continuing to stand strong, 9 rounds in, and they've already guaranteed at least the ticket to a victory at half-time. And well, as I've commented on earlier, it really does feel like damage control now for the EC Kyiv side, just to hold on to something, to hope that they can squeeze out a couple more. I think after losing Vertigo, we knew that it was going to be a tough battle, but then I'm trying to make things competitive. Unfortunately, the one-man advantage for the CT side short-lived as the AK of Bemis to pick up his 9th kill on Inferno. Wondering now if EC Kyiv can have any more reactionary plays like that. We see the double rotate coming in, but MOUZ really yet to commit to either side of the map, and so it seems like a bit of a premature gamble here for Kyiv.
Hopefully it works out. All these extra resources, the AWP is well in play. Hoping it hits hard. uQlutzavr a one and done angle over at the arches, and one that they're going to try and clear out. Nade right at his feet, but Dexter might not full clear it alongside it. Certainly some suspicions and takes and trades equal damage, but the nade that made all the difference. S4 taking the deep peek on short as well, but they're wrapping into this bomb site. It's a multi-pronged assault here from MOUZ, and jumping on top of the box might not have been ideal, but Amster's coming in on the arches as well. Dexter drawing so much attention, but they're still staggered here from MOUZ. They can't crack in until Bemis finds that kill in response. A 2-on-2, and health about equal both sides. Cheating past that smoke into the roto position. Amster does get on by, but torzsi so close. It's AWP v AWP. S4, they know exactly where he's positioned. The Molotov forcing him out, and torzsi finds him jumping around boxes. It's a 9th round for MOUZ, but a close one at that again.
But what a clutch from torzsi. The big man himself steps up once more. And I did want to comment on earlier, the MP9 in cubby, I do believe it was B9, right? That was sat in the cubby position. MP9 in hand. Oh, apologies. But the problem is the flash came in about 3 seconds too late. There was a bit of a miscom. They peek in at the wrong time, and that was it. They lose the long control. And sure, okay, they do make a meal of it here, Kyiv, and can find themselves 4 kills, but the fact that torzsi's allowed to pull that off, a huge flick towards the library position, and there was no swing from the remaining orb, burn into the flames, and the Tech-9 does the rest. MOUZ up to 9, and they're not going to stop here. They continue to pressure, and in the early round, it's a 4-man mid-play. Nice flash, Dexter to fall, orb missed shot as well. torzsi, an unconventional one, but he does manage to respond. He doubles up and doubles down. And it does eventually come in. A nice flash trying to push torzsi through the long smoke as well. But S4 all too knowledgeable of the angle. As the smoke starts to fade, the orb squeezes the trigger once more, but unavailable to find a second. Bomb picked up and throws a MOUZ towards middle. So this is going to be an A play, and the decision made quite early on from the MOUZ camp.
Yeah, you can set up for this and cheating a rotation over are Kyiv because they've got amster on that AWP peering down deep B, so they have early indicators. S4 is looking to push the issue, though, with his own AWP. Caught a glimpse, jumping back into the site, and, tried to challenge just as those smokes hit, but the nades are great. JDC getting double entries over at A, and only the arch is still held here for the CTs. 2 on 3, and these players weak in the knees, that's for sure. EC Kyiv, they need heroics.
It really has felt like they're clutching at straws, the Kyiv side.
Yeah.
Suffering, big time. And once again, they're in a situation where when the bomb goes down, it's another disadvantage. It's another, problem. Another round in which it seems a bit too distant. Unfortunately, the mountain continues to blossom, continues to grow for MOUZ. And EC Kyiv standing at the bottom looking up and wondering, where on earth do they even start? Because it's 10-1, MOUZ lead. They're 9 rounds ahead. And on the T side of Inferno, commonly known as the harder side of this map as well, really wouldn't expect to see a scoreline like this. And for Kyiv as well, this is going to be a bit deflating because we talked about it in the pre-game heading into map 2, Yumi, and even set up for the whole series, is that Kyiv have done a wonderful job getting here. And we know it would be a shame for them to take such an early exit. A win over Fnatic most certainly does go a long way, not only for, the HLTV ranking, but proving to the fans and the people watching that they can get it done. But a game against MOUZ, I think they would have been happy with a map off them. But if it's happened like this, I think, the one-sided affair on Inferno won't quite live up to the performance they put on during this event. So we can only hope from a neutral POV at least, for Kyiv's sake, that they can start to gain some more momentum. This is very nice though, the util, 190 damage. torzsi just sits in the flames, anticipating the peak. Just not meant to be.
Yeah, Frozen sat in it too. So they were really chancing that EC Kyiv would swing alongside those Molotovs, and it never came. They're not taking chances. And they're actually gambling 5 players over at the A bomb site. Hell, they haven't been able to hold on when they've split 3-2, so more numbers, more problems here for MOUZ. Smoke thrown by JDC, and he's not expecting them to be so aggressive. That's because they've got so many numbers, and they're running it down mid as well. Fast flank, Frozen, unaware. They're not even watching for this, and so it's an easy lineup here from amster. S4 as well will decapitate. 5 players survive here for EC Kyiv, but it's not exactly a bog standard defensive setup. They go for a gamble, and it works out.
Unreal. And as you said, the most unconventional one of the lot. They just throw together the 5-man A stack. To be fair, I couldn't tell you the last time MOUZ hit B. It was probably in the, what, rounds?
It's like the opening 5 rounds, I think is when they were really...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think like round 9, we had the 1B play, and it was like a 1-on-4, and S4 had no choice but to save the AWP.
Love this. Oh, he didn't stick around long enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I think had he have stayed around a second longer, it would have been a freebie. A 1-for-1 towards Banana isn't the worst of starts, though. What could have been, I mean, sure, they're able to at least make up that number that they would have found. A trade, leaving MOUZ in the 4-on-4. No flashbang, giving Dexter, I think, freedom to work with whatever. He's looking back behind, anticipating for this flash to come in. It eventually does, but by then, the smoke's already set, starting to fade, and Kyiv setting up more or less for the hold rather than for the big plays.
Yeah, no more gambles. 2-2 split between the sites. I tried this setup before, one with the nades lined up. Molotov, as soon as the side hit comes in, and uQlutzavr over top with the boost. broken down pretty quick, and MOUZ ran out of resources. That was the only reason things got so close. Well, util exchange, and right now, not a lot of presence to back it up here on MOUZ. They double up. Oh, they try to go for the swing, and Dexter cannot deal with the boost, so they dwindle down those numbers. They have a man advantage, but that bomb can go down planted.
Well, spam coming in, 4 on 3, man advantage in favour of the Kyiv side as they look to continue to try on this CT side. And well, try and you shall succeed at one point or another. B9 gonna pick up that third kill of the round, leaving JDC and Bemis in a 2-on-4. And unfortunately for Bemis, now left alone. A big clutch required, probably not for the scoreline, but just for momentum's sake. B9 gonna stick it. There's no point swinging for Bemis. He's just looking for a way out of this round, alive at least, and a nice couple of kills. But it does not influence the bomb not being stuck. And so EC Kyiv up to 3, but the AK kept into the next round as well. Considering the money is where it is for MOUZ, that's actually quite a big save for Bemis as well, and I think he realised that way quicker than I did, which is why the AK brought forward into number 14. MOUZ are going to dig deep in their pockets as well in this one here, Yumi, so they're not exactly standing for the eco buy for the last two. Instead, they're looking to create a domino effect and knowing if their economy's bad, EC Kiv's has to be worse.
Yeah, also they're leveraging the fact they already have 10 rounds on this T side. EC Kyiv need to be able to find this reliability, and right now MOUZ have shown that they can just brute force their way in. S4 boost is perfect, but not exactly where he needed it to be. He needed the extra step to commit to that wide swing. A lot of damage being done onto MOUZ. In the meanwhile, at the very least, they isolate, they find where that elp is, but JDC trailing through the smoke. Try to get something going for the squad. S4 aggressing right into the AWP of torzsi, but he hits it over him.
Nicely done. 3-on-5 scenario. Dexter backs away at the wrong time. S4 would have walked right into the crosshair. And well, uQlutzavr having absolutely none of it, mate. He's ran right at the jaws of Dexter, put the gun barrel down his throat and squeezed the trigger. A 5-on-2. Kyiv revitalized maybe, but it does feel like too little too late. The remaining players of MOUZ do look towards the site and maybe trying to rethink their plans, but a 10-5 at best here for Kyiv isn't exactly the way they wanted their CT side to go. uQlutzavr just running right at him at this point. He's sick and tired, Yumi, of playing passive.
He pushed mid and then he wrapped. Sorry, he pushed mid and then wrapped through the apartments. Like it was another one of these ring around the rosy moments where Bemis thinks he's safe. You know, he's held boiler for ages, and then he's getting flanked from the T side of apps. So you saw him get jump scared a little bit. Like you saw the mouth shake. Scary.
Yeah. Jump scared. But, again, just feels like a little bit distant here for an 11th round for MOUZ. Frozen, I think, looking to save the weapon. uQlutzavr, third try, unfortunately not his charm, as he will fall. And eventually now it is done and dusted. 4-on-1, the save coming in, 10-4. Money for the T side as well. Abysmal heading into number 15. You're not expecting too much. So a 10-5 more or less on the cards heading into the second half here, Yumi. But still, an emphatic job here for MOUZ and something they can be happy with. That big distance heading onto their CT side.
Hey man, I mean, you consider the rounds that EC Kyiv have been able to win. You know, we have a stack on the A-bomb site. We have this aggressive maneuver as well from the remaining rifles of EC Kyiv. It feels almost like when they play a bit more standard on these bomb sites, it's actually more dangerous for them because MOUZ are playing the slow game and trying to make the right read. EC Kyiv, if they get aggressive, they get pushed in early, they can certainly make them uncomfortable. And with Frozen already hitting the deck, that one rifle that you saved over that last round, it's only text that remain.
And the nades continue to bombard down Banana. All the counter utility being dropped out as well. Flash is looking to do some damage in terms of forcing the Banana presence away. uQlutzavr still ticking away, but he's still up and kicking as he'll find himself his third kill in the 2 rounds just gone. As MOUZ now looking to concede that 5th, and unfortunately the bomb going to make its way towards A, but I don't think they stand much of a chance. Nice shot from S4. And in turn, torzsi and Bemis remain to try and give MOUZ their 11th.
Yeah, torzsi took a dink, and Bemis will try with his dig. He's the high HP, so has to try and lead the way. 3 players close by. Flank is available as well from the CTs, but it's all about containment. Oh my god, long distance and a quick headshot. uQlutzavr finally dealt with, but Amster takes his place and spots the bomb. So Bemis doesn't really have much hope in this round. 4 players, and he's contained. Doesn't feel even safe moving back through those archers. It seems like it will be ECK finding a 5th round here on the CT side. 10 on the T side for MOUZ, though, that's more than enough. We'll see how things trail into that second half after a break. Second half and all to play for. EC Kyiv trying to fight for their lives in the Intel Extreme Masters Dallas closed qualifiers. It's day 2 and there are no second chances. We're already in the lower bracket and MOUZ are making a meal of it. A 10-5 half on the T side. EC Kyiv need to show us what they're made of, especially considering this is where they had the most success about Copenhagen Flames. We keep talking about it. We haven't seen much of it yet.
Yeah. Big vocal point for EC Kyiv would be to win this map and take us to a decider. As you said, the distant half in favour of MOUZ does leave us with a couple of questions, and I've got one more as to how on earth Beer9's hit that shot. Still a 4-on-5, and we know what MOUZ are like even from these positions. Nicely done. torzsi to level the numbers at least, so kept competitive by the CT side as EC Kyiv going to hit towards short. There's a player in pit and a player on site. Dexter caught blind, but he's let him run by. Bemis won't cough up anything, and JDC and torzsi now the flanking players to try and pull off the retake.
Yeah, through the smoke, JDC has a kit as well, but has to wait for an activation. If he can find S4 as well, that'll make things easier. torzsi doesn't have to worry about the bomb site as much. Having to worry about Pit and Grave as well, just hiding that player down on EC Kyiv and finally activating. It will be an activation that finds kills. Amster just diving out of Grave and helping his teammates on both respective fights. Great little play, those 3 players, the quick relays between the site, the Pit, and that Grave player. See Kyiv really showing the chemistry in the post plant. MOUZ cannot pull through on the pistol, and so EC Kyiv have a chance to bridge in on that gap.
Yeah, not to mention as well, I did want to touch on this earlier. Frozen is the highest rated player on Inferno in this competition so far through the closed qualifiers, a 1.73 over the times that he's played this, and so far he's been a bit missing, so wondering if the second half is where he steps up. It's torzsi and Dexter really to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Frozen, well, speaking of, he's going to have to go quite huge towards Banana here because it's 4 players early towards B.
Quick little smoke lineup, and they'll be happy to deploy that, but it's prompted out early. It's not as though MOUZ have the most amount of smokes as well to keep reapplying that one over. Kyiv will respect it. Frontside smoke as well to make him a little nervous, but they've got more resources than MOUZ do, so if they're just going to trade smokes all day, eventually MOUZ will run out. Not like they're being proactive the other side of the map either. EC Kyiv have no presence over at A, but MOUZ still hunkering down on the bomb sites. How are they to know?
Well, the execute comes in and another perfectly timed smoke. JDC. He's tossed it in at the right space because EC Kyiv are going to have to double dip on this execute if they want to take B. Have got the smokes to do so, but yeah, 30 seconds left. That is a bit of a concern. So as they wait for this one, they absolutely have to commit. Well, into the pistols they walk. The A site definitely will not be the one of choice as they head in towards B. Frozen back at the site, does hit one. Looking for more as he swings wide. Beer9 going to catch him off though. torzsi and Bemis left to go. 15 seconds left. I don't know how Bemis isn't rotating just yet. The bomb has already been set down. I guess the save call has already been made. And torzsi just going to linger around for a couple more seconds to see if he can make any damage happen. But no, not meant to be.
So worried about a lurking player over at A, I think is why they were hesitant at first. I mean, Bemis does it all the time on his T side, and he's thinking, I was being an absolute nuisance. Somebody must want to do that back to me. Yeah, Kyiv just keep it cool. Again, just trading resources over at B, and they were fine to do that because of the full buy scenario for MOUZ. Can't buy full belts on everyone. Well, if they did, they'd be really skint, or, you know, not opting for these Deegs, which are a preferred choice. Gives them a good running, and, you know, you saw the shots from Frozen. It's just very difficult when the EC Kyiv have so many numbers, and I admire the patience. I really do. It shows as well the ability for them to just feel comfortable on the calls that are being made. There's no over anxiousness about whether they're making the right move or not. Are they getting flanked? They're keeping all of that under wraps. So important that they are able to establish confidence into the second half, because that will more than carry them into closer and closer rounds. It's not like all those 10 for MOUZ were squeaky clean.
Round 18, a bit of a pressure cooker here for Kyiv. S4 caught blind early on. Forced away, I think, all in all, from middle. He's stuck in that corner, fortunately for him. His teammates are around to try and give that support. Amster will pick up one. Looking for more as well. Guns dropped, will spot him. Dexter, nice trade. So that is an AK dropped in the middle of no man's land. Wondering if they are going to venture for it here, MOUZ, but instead they're opting to rotate and try and predict their next play here for Kyiv. In a 3-on-3, the Wolfpack play has to be made at one point or another for the remaining players to group and go somewhere, and if they head towards B, which it looks to be as if they are, this could be their downfall, because all three players from the CT side stacked in. The boost is coming out. Sure, the USP will not find much. It's a dink, smash low, looking for more. JDC a second dink, so it is getting dangerous as Beamers finds two, and uQlutzavr, the last man left, a 1-on-3 for him, and while the AK is wielded and much better than the Deagles, I think the numbers are going to prove powerful. He has scooped up the bomb, but with 25 seconds, he's got one way to commit, and while he has found one, JDC's USP is downfall, and Bemis' triple most certainly helps. MOUZ to 11, and they just got eco'd.
Oh, they pull it through when you just consider how safe and passive they play in previous rounds. They try to move in with that MAC-10, but they run into a stack. They're getting completely outnumbered in some of these fights that they took early on. That's why they feel compelled to go with that wolf pack mentality that they're sort of talking about and converging onto the site. But MOUZ make the right gamble. They just can't hit the shots cleanly enough. They knew Bemis was on the boost, but they thought he would break it down, and somehow he just kept firing shot after shot. That's not going to feel good. Not at all.
Absolutely. Left unanswered by the EC Kyiv side. They are going to double dip with the buys. AK's across the board. It's the one man of uQlutzavr on the Tech 9. Just wondering if they can make the difference in this round. Something they struggled with in the previous was grouping up and giving themselves enough time. Wouldn't be surprised to see a faster play at the minute. 10 clock. We've already got ourselves a fair bit of mid-presence. Not quite the brackets control yet. torzsi on the AWP. We know what he's like from this angle. Spots the foot of Amster, so he knows that that peak is coming at one point or another. And as he waits, he's ready to pull the trigger. Squeezes it as Amster walks in. And that's a 5-on-4 quick and easy pickup here for MOUZ. And the response, Smash looking towards B, but I don't think he's going to be lasting very long either. Taking a bit of damage, forcing him towards JDC, and a nice kill. A follow-up from torzsi as one by one, the dominoes fall. Oh!
Bemis even falling into the pit will find uQlutzavr as a parting gift. Beer9 trying to make his way through Short and finally deals with Bemis, but Short now resided by Dexter. It is a 12th here for MOUZ, and that breaks the Kyiv money. They're already close enough to that finishing point. They were double digits coming into this half. EC Kyiv needed these nice conversions. You know, the low buys, that should be gimme territory. And now MOUZ are asking simply for them to give them more.
I know, man.
Deflating ways to lose rounds. Because they've been good about dealing with anti-ecos so far in the series. And now at a turning point where they're sort of ramping up to try and get themselves back into this game. That's where it hits the worst.
And I think the finishing touch to all of this is that this is the elimination game for them, right? Not the way you want to take an exit in a tournament. And they know a lot of these rounds, I wouldn't say winnable, but manageable, right? The scoreline would be a lot closer if, as you said, things were just a little more rigid in how Kyiv played.
Like they've had these close clutches. Yeah,
Yeah.
they get run over on Vertigo in like the last round of that game as well. But all in all, like when they have all the components, they look good. They look well drilled.
They have looked the part. But MOUZ just seem to be performing the better team, and as the you know, at least as the eye would say and see, it should be that way. But Kyiv absolutely giving them a run for their money. Vertigo, their pick was a pretty close affair at times as well. Dexter going to be tested, but it's Bemis really to do a lot of the lifting at the beginning. The AK still on the back of the site. torzsi into assist, Frozen lining him up. A collateral with the A1S. Not quite the most common way to go out, but hey, MOUZ will take it. They are 3 away from knocking Kyiv here out of the IEM Dallas 2022 qualifiers, of course. Giving MOUZ another shot at the lower bracket and meeting the eventual winners of Copenhagen Flames versus Apex currently on the B stream for those that are interested. But here on the A stream, MOUZ Kyiv, and it might just be the end of the road here for a very, very impressive side here. Kyiv, the Ukrainian side, they have been one hell of a force, making it all the way through from the open qualifiers, but just not meant to be. With stacked talent through and through, it was always going to be difficult, but I think it's safe to say these guys have put on one hell of a show.
Yeah, and it's not as though they've got anyone that they can target. You know, we looked at even the big matchup to MOUZ. You know, JDC has been pretty influential for, you know, since he entered this roster and kind of went missing, and they have really woken up. Nice little response here from Smash. At the very least, even though torzsi got the opening pick, they have something to hold on to. A 4-on-4. And suddenly all these rounds winnable. Flash lined up, JDC right into the waiting arms of Smash. He never turned, it sailed over his head, so didn't have to worry about that piece of utility. 2 players still residing over on this A site, and they set up for a crossfire, but they can't really help each other too much. Bemis, if he gets a shot from the high ground, it's an easy one, but Frozen deals with the low ground alongside him, so uQlutzavr has to make audibles, has to make noise before jumping out, and the flash is there. torzsi rotates in and makes it easy for Frozen. A shutdown at A, and it may just end up being a MOUZ story all the way to the finish.
I think that's one that you're going to have to watch back time and time again. If any of you, you know, at home play Counter-Strike to any level, I think that is the way you want to watch the A bomb site unfold. The 4-man stack on short, well, 1 from apartments, but 3 in. And as you said, the bait and switch play works perfectly. It's the first contact from pit. They all turn around, and the site guy deals with the lower players. And then there's only 1 man left, and he's in apartments, stranded out in the open, has to make the drop happen one point or another. And for MOUZ, they are going to be laughing right now at how well they play. torzsi giving us a little swish of the mouse. Missed nade towards middle, don't worry. We'll forget we saw it. Because it has been a very lights out game of Counter-Strike overall from him. Dexter shall fall from apartments, so the man himself will have to turn up, just throwing the counter utility in the form of a molly, just force them away. And MOUZ Sports overall taking their time, slamming the brakes and re-evaluating their situation with the man down.
Yeah, and also realizing that that M4 has made its way out of the apartments, so torzsi getting that extra info, they may start to lean the other direction. Play a little bit more arch side heavy. Try and contest the site from a distance. Kyiv will try and leverage the fact that they've got their hands onto this M4, but again, difficulties lie because of how MOUZ have been playing these sites. And for a lot of these chopped and changed crossfire setups, then they've been mixing them up as well, so going A is increasingly difficult. I'm a little surprised given the vacant apartments that they haven't added an extra player over at B, but timely smoke from JDC will buy extra time for those rotates to finally come in. Kyiv making their move.
JDC, good for the first, looking for another, but benign. Again with the Deagle just finding heads. This time it's JDC to drop. And hold on a second, MOUZ are running. They're done. They don't want anything to do with this round. They're going to give an 8th over to Kyiv. They want to pick the fights correctly. And I mean, sure, they have a lot of money, but losing out on an AK and an AWP, and then in turn an M4, most certainly would not be the sweet victory they'd want, or the bitter taste of losing it. So they're going to give no thought to the idea of a retake. And there we go, right? Done and dusted. At least they do find themselves on 8th here, Kyiv. But it is a long road ahead of them. They want to win the game. It's another 8 afterwards in regulation, if not 7 required to push us to overtime. And well, there we have it. Done, dusted, shut book. at least here for this round. But MOUZ, they got stacks of Kashimi. They got nothing to worry about.
Hey, I mean, as well, Kyiv are just to be happy that they win a round like this. They had limited resources, they got the kills that they need to, and then MOUZ just don't contest it in the end. They were, I think, a little too worried about someone maybe slipping in through spawn, and so they needed the extra players over at A. But yeah, they also want to keep their money in a good position so that they can have these premium buys moving forward, because the last thing they want to do is find themselves in a situation where they can't afford the Molotov that they need to make a play or make it more difficult for Kyiv to take a site. To be the hardest road possible, if they can somewhat facilitate that here on MOUZ. Like you said, they've got rounds to play with.
Big buffer to work with torzsi. Any other day he hits that shot, but it's only the leg being connected with, or rather maybe the torso, but through the wall. Amster giving a bit of a lifeline early on into this one. Bemis looking towards middle to try and find the trade. He did have a little delve into apartments, but that stint short-lived. Moves back towards pit, realising his life is a little more valuable than finding the trade, and in turn, it's Dexter forced forward to try and deal with this one, and, well, there you have it. Could have sat on site and played passive instead. He was the man looking for heroics, and he walked right into the crosshair. The Orb of Amster, or rather the M4 of Amster now, making the mark. Smash shield get frozen out of the round, and uQlutzavr read all too well into the mini-pit position. JDC 1 on 5. And well, Kyiv signs of life towards the tail end of this map as they find themselves a 9th, doubling up now on their success.
Man, what a peak from uQlutzavr. The fact he's able to stay on top of the balcony but get round the railing so that he has that angle. Bemis had no idea he was going to get shot like that. Usually players just jump down into the pit. The rest of the team's making his way into the bomb site. Why don't you just drop your guard for just a second? But really nice to find those kills and make sure that they kept on finding additional advantages. Yeah, a little surprising that they didn't play safe, considering Bemis kept slowly teetering back to the bomb site, and Dexter stood his ground. MOUZ, I think, trying to get themselves on the same page about how they should be approaching some of these mid-round moments. Kyiv at the moment have had an extra bump up in their firepower. I think maybe the knock on the door, the end of the tunnel being filled with darkness to a certain extent has added this fight or flight response to them. They are fighting for their lives. They're fighting for continuation in our close qualifiers. God forbid they eliminate MOUZ. That's not the expectation for a squad like this, but you want to see them continue to develop and show us what they're made of. Only onto JDC doesn't quite spread all the way, so he stays in at the sandbags. I wonder if Kyiv are going to continue pushing over towards B. There's been a lot of utility exchange, but nobody actually facing for the fight.
Taking their time, slowing the pace a little bit here. Molly dished out towards top banana, I guess MOUZ delaying. Still plenty of time to make the move here. Overall, the double swing, S4 nearly has it, but no, great flash, an incredible one, but only the single. JDC actually will find a second. It's Frozen eliminated early on. Dexter to throw the smoke to try and support, hold up the B site for a little bit longer. 50 seconds to go in a 3-on-3. Kyiv weighing up their options and maybe thinking about the double back towards A.
Yeah, timely smoke and time for the rotate, and you could see them hovering in through spawn is torzsi on the AWP. So we will be only Bemis, because they are heading back towards that A site. Has a smoke, has a flash, can certainly buy time, but MOUZ are doubled down over at B, so even if he bought all the time in the world, they wouldn't get here in enough time to make it feasible. Bemis is almost certain to die if they trade.
Oh, this is smart. They wouldn't have spotted the cross, so okay, sure, the smoke was there, but look, none of these players are anticipating he's going to be in the mini pit, and it's an easy pick up for Bemis. All he's got to do is live now. Another swing in. uQlutzavr will take a bit of damage, but more importantly, Smash to get the kill, and so a 2-on-2 to ensue, and this is a lot more manageable here for the MOUZ side. No kit, so they've got to get a move on. Dexter up close, and I'm wondering, Smash, if he ever lets go of that control key, I think he's going to lose his head quite quickly here, but he won't. Instead, he has to take the peek with torzsi. Swings up. Dexter good for the trade, but uQlutzavr, he's able to hold on. And Kyiv up to 10. They are playing chase here to MOUZ's 14, but still a bit of a buffer to work with. And Eco in round 25. MOUZ still with plenty of room to work with.
Yeah, I think when it comes to some of these A-side plays as well, I think they're starting to realize that EC Kyiv love playing that graveyard position for these post plants. How many times we've seen them, just whether it's been amster or whether it's been smash, just finding the right timings to swing, and also just being so good at hitting the shots needed when it came to those rotating players. MOUZ will want an extra Molotov or an HE or something to make that a little easier. Maybe I'm not counting out a round like this either, especially if JDC starts and finishes like this. Back-to-back headshots on the Deeg. Finally, the S4 AWP will deal with it, but that's 2 weapons dropped over at B that Kyiv will have to try and hold on to, try and get out of the map as quick as possible.
Well, here we are, time ticking, minute and 15 to go, and breaking in their boots.
Didn't
Oh my
see him.
god! I swear he could have seen him from that angle though.
He should have been able to.
Yeah,
Easier when we could see outlines, but he's
obviously.
thinking he's a part of the furniture.
Yeah, he's just a stool to sit on maybe. And that might just come back to bite them, because once again, we've seen this play before. A MOUZ triple stack towards B. Yes, sure, it's just the pistols, but we've been here many a times before, and we've seen the outcome for some of these rounds, and it could look ugly here for Kyiv. Amster to try and give things a bit of a sprite in favour of the T side. Nice flash thrown in after the molly, forcing torzsi and frozen away. So JDC obviously gone as well. Gives no position for that Deagle to find form. Instead, Dexter to pick up an AK, but more importantly, a USP from Banana, or from Coffin to pick up the kill.
Yeah, they never threw those rifles out, so Dexter can be a heavy hitter, but Amster dealing with it nice and easily, but they're doubled up in a dark and new box as well. torzsi, P250 pulled out, but knows his chances aren't high, just trying to do some extra damage, because money isn't all that premium here for EC Kyiv. They need to continuously win all these rounds with at least 3 of these players afloat, and MOUZ will have a buy around the corner anyway. If he can get a kill, get his hands on a rifle, hell, he'll take at that at a minimum, but S4 will make sure that's not a possibility. That's a really scary round for EC Kyiv. Like you said, we'd been in a position just like it on that B-bomb site. This time, they're not full and foul to it.
Nah. None of that happening. None of that happening. MOUZ making things competitive, and on an eco it's respectable, but this is getting a bit scary now, Yumi. The fact of the matter is, we have only got a 3-round buffer ahead of us now for MOUZ. This was, you know, a solid 7-round buffer at the beginning of the half, so there should be no position in which EC Kyiv can make the comeback and send us to a 3rd map, but the here and now dictates that EC Kyiv definitely do have a chance. MOUZ need to keep on their best form, early stages. A lot of util poured out by the CT side towards B.
Yeah, ran a little light as well because of the buy, and expending quite a lot at the start. Saying that if they end up in a post plant at A, they'll want an extra Molotov for these post plants, given the tendencies I think that are there for Kyiv so far. Might not even end up in post plants if they can't delay long enough or find some of these openers. I know the Ukrainians doing a great job at finding and bailing themselves out of some nasty situations.
The mid-presence continues here for EC Kyiv, as they look to find themselves a bit more traction, a bit more momentum. With 50 seconds left on the clock, a smoke in front of torzsi most certainly will not help. He's forced off the angle and will be screaming to his teammates, specifically Frozen, that they can be out long, and he will take the fight. The M4 to succeed. Some timing goes in favour of BN9. And in turn, actually, they're going to go for a B play by the looks of things. It's smashed towards Banana. Will he be anticipating for JDC to sit in front of the smoke? It doesn't even matter anyway. He's found the frag nonetheless in a 4-on-3 scenario. It's looking tasteful here for EC Kyiv to find their 12th. Not before torzsi finds some form, though. The AWP catching another just as the smoke plumes. And so a 3-on-3, another manageable round here for MOUZ, this time in the post plant.
Oh, as for challenging into spawn as well, they are going to dial out of this one on MOUZ. If that AWP stays alive, they commit to this B flank. I'd almost pull that as a certainty, but they could be everywhere. They could be into spawn, they could hold that AWP and just play the plant from there, so MOUZ want nothing of it. You see Kyiv, they keep this ball rolling. That's what now, 5 straight, I believe?
Does feel like a very definitive couple of rounds here from Kyiv as they continue, as you said, to push that payload ever so more.
What is this, Overwatch?
No, man. That's a terrible game.
Yeah, true.
Sorry to any Overwatch players, but find a better game, please. I just mean, like, you know, they're getting there.
Yeah, they're
That was
pushing
the
the boulder
point
up
of
the
it.
hill.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that then if you want to make things difficult, you know. But you get the gist. As you said, it's now 5 in a row here for Kyiv on the T side as they continue to perform. MOUZ, it has been a bit of a drought. They got off to a really good start. I mean, it was 10-5, right? Kyiv won 6 in a row to kick things off. MOUZ from 10 found 14, and since then it has been a very stagnant game. The nades go both ways, and the HE is landing onto Frozen's feet. In 9, he's going to take a bit of damage himself, but all in all, it's a fairly even trade, one in which the CT side will suffer with because they used a lot more utility towards B to begin with.
Yeah, you think about how many times MOUZ hit the B bomb site. It started to get a little bit shy, I think, of that side of the map. EC Kyiv just so comfortable about how they take Banana and force these fights. MOUZ can't do a whole lot to stop it. Anchor player has been having some difficulties being so isolated as well with the amount of pressure that mounts on brackets. You can understand why MOUZ lean over to A. Can't keep on hitting B, surely. And they've suffered in those A-side post plants as well, so you know that they're worried if EC Kyiv do break in. They're just so comfortable grinding down that clock, 45 seconds, and they've still got all the utility they need to execute onto this site, and they do it at a great time because there was a third player lent on over that's rotated back to A.
You mentioned how well they do under pressure with that clock. Well, here we go. One more time to execute it out. JDC dancing behind the pillar. The new box molly has actually missed, so he's going to sit behind it, and they won't expect this. 18 seconds left. The time's so low, JDC. All he has to do is catch the planter, but he's going to go aggressive. He can't find the planter in time. Nice shot from Frozen through the smoke, but I feel like JDC's fumbled the bag a bit. Had he have waited a couple more seconds, he could have lined up a kill on the bomb, and that would have been the round done and dusted, and instead now MOUZ have to slog out a retake. Sure, they've got the man advantage, but we know EC Kyiv have been strong in these positions. But a slight defect, and dexter to capitalize as he finds himself another. And an amster 1-on-4, and sure, he's good for 1. But Frozen's got all bases covered. And finally, MOUZ break the curse. It takes them 6, but they finally get their 1. It's 15-12. Map point, series point, and elimination point ultimately here for EC Kyiv.
Oh, they've been playing so good in these post plants, never giving these opportunities for MOUZ to continuously bring down those numbers. And because they're down at a deficit, they feel like they need to force these fights, and it only goes from bad to worse. MOUZ didn't have the utility to really challenge that. They had a Molotov, but even deploying that when there's no smoke down, when there's no safety for the CTs is a vulnerability. Yeah, it takes a while, but MOUZ finally bridging that. It's S4 trying to challenge with the ult, but dexter dies to a molly. Nade comboed up on the initial peek over Banana, but they're down 2 men at the very start of this one after finally breaking the streak from Kyiv.
That's really disappointing. Bitter for MOUZ. I think they themselves will be kicking themselves thinking, what did we just do? You find some form and instantly throw it away. I feel like Frozen's going to have to turn up to the maximum here. Look at his position towards apartments. He is going to be challenged. These 3 players jumping out. Swanton bomb effectively, and N9 only good for the 1. In fact, a second as well. JDC gone. And EC Kyiv forcing torzsi to save. Okay, sure, they found themselves a 15th, but that is not the way you want to start round 28. You'd expect a little more courtesy and a little more respect given to the Kyiv side, given what's just happened. But no, they run right at them, and they'll be punished for it.
Yeah, they've been getting hammered on some of these Banana plays, eating a lot of utility damage. They're frequently just letting the two Cs part ways because of how much utility they're exchanging. And to lose Frozen in that manner, I think dexter as well went for like an aggro peek down middle that wasn't respected. Now torzsi trying to hold on to this AWP and being very successful at it so far. Molly will force him out, and the tag is enough to keep him in the flames. 4 kills, but no AWP for MOUZ. dexter can reinvest if they decide to buy right here, right now, but might have to wait for round 30. EC Kyiv, I feel like they're they're really chomping at the heels of MOUZ, and you know, a lot of the nerves and the anxiety I think about this game. We've talked a lot about Kyiv's angle and how close it's been and how certain performances haven't been there. MOUZ have expectations to fulfill.
Well, there we go. The expectations are rush down mid. It's a half buy for them, and actually paying off quite nicely. Amster to trade at least. The AK getting invested towards second mid, and a nice shot from uQlutzavr, but only the one. And another kill for JDC. Surely not like this. Kyiv have put up such a stunner on the T side. And surely this round isn't their downfall. It's a half buy, a minimal investment made by MOUZ, and all of a sudden it's 2 AKs and an MP9, and quite quickly deteriorating to a 2-on-3. They've got to scramble together a couple of kills, and it feels like the double up towards B should be the right play. If they clear the close right, they will have a chance, but if Bemis can find even one kill, this game might just be over. It's an S4 1-on-3 to keep them alive.
JDC's
and while he darts
there.
towards the site, JDC patiently waiting. And actually, hold on a second. I like this play.
What a move.
S4, he's thinking about it. He's like, do you know what? I'm going to run B, but right through the smoke I move. And that's an A site free.
Oh my god, what a move. You see him throw that smoke and you think he's just going to plant and think that the site is free, but now he gets a free plant over at A instead. torzsi in the apartments might be there quicker than he anticipates, though.
Oh, and he's peeked in. Yes, torzsi has it. What a play from S4, but it just isn't enough. It's a long fought map 2, but it is MOUZ Sports to take it 2-0. A 10-second stick, but ultimately means victory here for MOUZ Sports. Probably a little closer than they would have liked here on their map pick, Yumi, but a brilliant, brilliant map nonetheless. Kyiv, a great performance, and we cannot deny how well they played in this series. It's unfortunate to see them go, but as the worst ranked team heading into this tournament, you would expect them to come dead last, and they put up one hell of a performance against Fnatic and one hell of a performance today against MOUZ as well.